Singapore, zero COVID-19 cases in the community and dormitories for the 13th straight day. Now, meanwhile, according to a source, Hong Kong has 73 new cases today, the highest daily figure in about 3 months. This takes the total cases now to about 5,700.
Well, this recent uptick in cases led to the suspension of the air travel bubble arrangement with Singapore, which was slated to take off yesterday. While addressing concerns on the sidelines of a press conference this morning, Trade and Industry Minister Chan Chun Sing said the joint decision by Singapore and Hong Kong to defer the air travel bubble was based on clear parameters that had been set out in the agreement between the two cities.
Under the agreement, the travel bubble would be suspended with a 2-day notice if the 7-day moving average for unlinked cases in either city exceeds 5. Last Saturday, Transport Minister Ong Ye Kung said the travel bubble will be deferred for 2 weeks with the new launch date to be announced later.
Well, aviation analyst Shukur Yusof from Endow Analytics is here to share more. Hi Shukur, welcome. So this is the world's first air travel bubble. So the news that it has been suspended is disappointing because there were expectations from many parties, those who bought flight tickets, industry players and at the governmental level as well. But how much of a setback is this really?
Well, I think it's only a setback if you're involved in the logistics in the organization of the entire project. And I think it's a huge disappointment, especially for SIA. And I think also for the government, who were very much looking forward to this. And also, there's a small group of people I'm thinking of who had also booked flights on tickets on this flight and we're very much looking forward to this. But as the situation is very fluid, as we're seeing surge in second, third, now they're talking about fourth wave, I think it's only the sensible thing to do to delay it by another fortnight and see where it takes us. But at the same time, the situation is beyond anyone's control. And so we'll have to see what happens in 2 weeks.
And as you rightly mentioned, fluid, the situation is fluid, and the postponement of this air travel bubble shows exactly that. Processes and arrangements were ready and in place for it to take off, but had to be delayed due to the developing COVID-19 situation in Hong Kong. Now, in what ways is the aviation industry flexible enough to react to the fluid situation?
Well, the industry has always been flexible. Airlines have dealt with many different forces that are beyond their control for many, many decades, throughout history, in fact. I mean, they have had to deal with volcanoes, they've had to deal with other forms of cross-border types, diseases, terrorists, and many other factors that they can't control. So this one is going to be another one in the book. And so I think for them, they understand it better now. Airlines have always been nimble, at least some of them are. There are airlines who unfortunately are not very well prepared, either financially or even organizationally, but quite a majority of them are. And so they're very quick. They are reactive to the situation. If you look back 9 or 10 months ago, I think British Airways was the first to decide not to fly to China from the UK when things weren't as big as what it is today. So they had that very first move, which was followed by other carriers throughout the world. So they're very quick. They're very reactive. Singapore Airlines is one of the smartest carriers around. They also are very nimble and very quick to respond to this, and I expect they will until the situation is resolved.
I see. Well, let's jump into the mindset of passengers. What frame of mind should they adopt when signing up for air travel bubble arrangements like the Singapore-Hong Kong one, or any future arrangements in place? Should they be prepared for arrangements like this to be deferred, as in the case that we saw here?
I think you need to understand that you have to go through various health processes, health measures. That's inevitable. Pretty much like what happened after 9/11, when all of us have had to go through very tedious security checks, and I expect that this will be the case for passengers who want to travel from now on until such time that the vaccine is in sufficient numbers for everyone. So things will come back to normal. But until then, passengers will have to be in a mindset of of constant preparedness. They have to understand that they have to abide by certain procedures like wearing a mask constantly, washing their hands, and perhaps some would even go so far as to wear a face shield. And there's no obvious interaction at close distances on board the aircraft. So there are many new things that they have to adapt to. And that would have been interesting to see how the first flight had gone.
Yep.
Had it gone yesterday.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Shukur, for setting aside time to speak with us. That was aviation analyst Shukur Yusof from Endow Analytics.